This is the Go Local Brief, brought to you by Go Local Interactive. Every episode we dig into digital marketing, technology, and AI, and pull out what self-storage operators actually need to know. Today we're checking in from the Go Local booth at the Inside Self-Storage World Expo in Las Vegas and talking with Grace Totty, the VP of Marketing and Sales at Absolute Storage Management. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Go Local Brief here from ISS. This is the local front where we're going to talk about the news, what's going on. Yep. I'm Shane Adams. I'm the Director of Marketing at Go Local. With me as always, Jason Barrett, CEO. Jason, how's the show been?
It's been good. It's really busy. It's there's a lot of energy, I would say. It's not that I didn't think there would be. I just always forget how big the industry is and how friendly it is, and I don't know. It's been a good show. There's just a lot going on.
It is. It felt really, really steady. From a traffic perspective.
Yeah, and I think.
So the first thing we're going to talk about, we started talking about this at SSA, and it's still in the news. Yeah. Public Storage acquires NSAT.
I like the T. Yeah. I've always known them as NSA.
I know. I started seeing it in stories because it's a trust. I don't know.
It is. And by the way, hey, Dave Kramer. I watched this thing get put together years ago. Years ago, it was Secure Care, and there was just a group that kind of came together, and then they started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and here they are today, and it's quite the story.
Well, yeah, a $10.5 billion story. I mean, it's huge.
Yep. Just a little bigger than Go Local.
I mean,
not a lot.
A little,
right?
A little, yeah.
There's like that deal, and then us.
Right. So, but what does it mean? I mean, we talked about this a little bit at SSA, but I've not been in the industry nearly as long as you have. So I wanted to get your thoughts. What do you feel like that acquisition really means for the industry when it comes to how they're going to compete? How the big get bigger?
They always do. Yeah. And I mean, this is this is an active industry from an M&A perspective, and it always has been, where, you know, one of the playbooks is to build or acquire and put together a portfolio, and then those start to just roll out, and other people acquire a book of 20 facilities or whatever. And it just rolls up and rolls out. And so, I mean, it's not anything that's new. It's just such a sizable transaction, and I think that's really where the waves come from. I think for the rest of the industry,
right?
I mean, you could see that you're going to have to be competitive as always with your spend, with your marketing, everything gets driven by those big companies like that.
Right.
Public Storage, Extra Space. I mean, nothing changes there, and a lot of this room kind of follows along behind with pricing, with deal structure, with even like free lock, free first month's rent, even the way they move their rates, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so, it's just another one of those instances where, to your point, the big companies are out there making big moves, and everybody's following those leaders. And
we even talked about this a little bit when it came to the U-Haul move to do the price lock guarantee. Yeah. I think in the subsequent weeks, I saw a couple of smaller operators who were following that lead and offering price lock guarantees as well. And I think there's a way to follow, but there's also a way to lead. And I think the advantage to me for the smaller operator when it comes to the REITs is you have the ability to be a little bit more nimble.
Yeah, you do. The interesting thing right now, if you're looking for a crack in the armor somewhere, for what it's worth, if you bringing in AI a little bit, so those LLMs, like a ChatGPT or a Claude or a Gemini or someone like that, they are they're almost trained to be a little bit, what's the right word? They don't want to give you the stock answer. So some of these other folks are winning in that space right now simply because they're not the big one or two or three. Yeah. They want to have a clever and an intelligent response. So when you say, for example, who's a great self-storage provider near me, clearly the answer could be A and B, but they want to give you something you might not have thought about, that you're like, hey, there's a facility right around the corner that you may or may not have heard of that's doing very well. They're highly thought of, and so there are always opportunities to go and win.
Yeah.
Size definitely does play well in the space. From an SEO perspective, for example, they rank so well in all of the major metros from all the categories. But you can chip away at that too.
Right.
Some people don't want to work with. They don't want to go to McDonald's. They don't want to go to Burger King. They want something else.
Yeah. They want a vegan burger.
They want a vegan burger, man.
Right.
I keep messing that up. So Shane here, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Is a vegan.
Yeah.
And when we come to Las Vegas, we go get some steak.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to Mastro's, tried to get into Ruth's Chris last night.
Yeah.
And every time I look at Shane and like, oh, dude, sorry.
But you know what's funny is, so this morning everybody went out to breakfast, and I was like, I know that there's a vegan place nearby because Steve Wynn is vegan.
Oh, okay.
And so, but I ended up having to go to the Venetian.
Okay.
And inside the Venetian, in the spa, there's an incredible, like mostly vegan spot.
Okay.
Shout out to, I think it was called Truth and Tonic. Who served me well. They were great.
I went and sought out some acai bowls yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And ended up over at Aria and tried 2 different places.
No, right on. This is now a food blog.
Yeah, it's a food blog.
So you mentioned AI.
Yeah.
So 10 Federal, player in the self-storage industry, just announced that they hired a chief AI officer, and they hired him from NVIDIA. I mean, like, that's not a small hire.
No, that's not a small hire.
And this is a guy who probably could have gone to any of the Silicon Valley folks, and he chose to go into self-storage. I mean, do you think that that's an indicator of what we're going to see other companies, particularly the technology forward companies do?
I think so, man. I mean, I really do. It's funny because to me, it's another aspect of technology. So could fit into a CTO role, CIO role. That's my background, as you know.
Yeah.
And I think it fits in there nicely, but what it does is it kind of sections it off as like this aspect of technology is extremely important.
Right.
And
it's
kudos.
moving so fast.
It's moving so fast. We were talking about that this morning. So Melanie Tershak, one of our great employees, did a talk this morning at 9 o'clock about GEO, which we were just kind of talking about, which for everybody at home is generative engine optimization, which is how do you rank
on ChatGPT.
On ChatGPT. How do you become the response?
Right.
And where I was going with that was ISS, the show, had asked for her presentation, like, want to say back in October?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's 6 months ago is an eternity in AI. Like it is a long since forgotten. Think about that. We didn't have like Opus 4.5, 4.6 is out. We didn't have ChatGPT. We were significantly back in the past.
We didn't have projects. I don't think CoWork even existed 6 months ago.
We did not.
I mean, we're talking about like
OpenClaw had not been out.
The speed with which things are moving,
and so
to have somebody dedicated to that.
Think about how outdated her presentation. Thankfully, there's some pieces in there that the informational aspects of it are a little more timeless, a little more evergreen. But in terms of like stats or latest models, it's old.
Oh yeah.
So the point in all of that is like kudos to 10 Federal for acknowledging like, oh, we better make this a priority.
Right.
They're a well-funded organization, as most are here, and it's just an acknowledgement that we're going to need this. You know, it was part of my table talk yesterday. Actually, I kind of moved it into the automation section, which is, what you're trying to balance in this space is you've got people operations, and then you have your marketing and technology operations. Those are, I'm blending a lot of things, but you really want the people to do the people things, and you want the tech to do the tech things, and there's only people are required for move-ins, move-outs, for delinquency follow-ups, for somebody walking into the facility, that sort of thing. But the AI and the automation can start to come in and handle off hours, and easy requests that come through maybe via a chatbot. Are you open or not? How do I change our technology? You can go change your gate codes. You can go update your credit cards if you're a tenant, all those different things.
Right.
So So 10 Federal saying like, this is an important aspect, like that AI can start, that the marketing and all that tech can start to blend in with the operations, and they all just kind of start to come together. And what you need to decide is where do you direct the AI, and there's a lot of places to put it.
Well, and I think what's really important for organizations to think about is embrace AI. Like, use it absolutely. If you're not doing it, you're probably going to get left behind.
You are getting left behind.
But I think in that there is an aspect of like governance, of ensuring that you're using the tokens in the right way, and optimizing your usage of AI. Hey, we're all going to use Claude because we can store all of our memories together.
That's right.
Or we're gonna do ChatGPT's version. And I think having somebody who that's their responsibility is a good move.
And we have that, like, as you know, inside of Go Local, but we haven't chiefed it.
Right.
Like, and what you didn't know is a couple of years back, we actually had somebody who was kind of the VP of AI for Go Local. We were creating our own, we were training our own models, et cetera. We decided to go a different direction there. We still acknowledge where AI is and where it's going. And we have somebody exactly like you said, centralizing our intelligence, centralizing our data, doing a lot of the training and building, maybe it's skills, as you know, maybe it's an MCP instance, whatever that might be that we're utilizing so that the team can use one collective data set or interface or however you want to say, and share it across the organization.
Well, and it's the same. It's the same application that you would see the responsibilities of, say, a chief marketing officer or chief sales officer or something like that, because it is about standardizing. When I was a CMO at the university, one of the things I was making sure of was that we were all saying the same thing.
That's right.
And it just was, we need to tell the same story. The same rules apply when it comes to AI. You want people standardizing the tools because you're going to get more out of them that way.
You will. You're really trying desperately to get AI to the top of the top. And so in 10 Federal's situation here, like, they're basically inviting it into the executive team and going, it's got to be.
Right.
And then we're going to ask this person to drive that for the company.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA side of it, I've kind of blown past that, but they're way into the space, clearly. With the chip, in their card creation, they're actually doing a lot of, what am I trying to say, building out models and training sets that you can utilize. They're not only creating hardware infrastructure, but software as well.
Right.
So them 10 Federal getting somebody from that organization. Now, I can't tell you, I didn't look into who it was and where he was in that organization, but there are certain companies that are doing like way out front, tip of the spear kind of things right now, and they're one of them.
It's a huge move.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing, this ISS comes around once a year.
Yep.
You mentioned Melanie presented. You also mentioned you did a table talk. Tell us a little bit about your table talk and what you wanted people to know in that.
So the table talks are, as I lamented a little bit, they're really fast. They're fun. And they make you get to the point quickly.
Yeah.
Because you got 10 minutes and you rotate through 5 sections like that. There's about 2 minutes to move between tables, and then you're rolling.
It moves fast.
It's going quickly. They want you to talk for 1 to 3, leave 5 to 7 for questions, give or take, and or 7 to whatever it is, 7 to 9. But so anyway, what I was covering was basically leaning into data and technology for marketing. Via attribution, correctly attributing and understanding where are my marketing efforts paying off in a positive way.
Yep.
And the way you do that, as you know, is like utilizing call tracking lines, tracking tags, a Google Tag Manager on your website, et cetera, and understanding at a channel level, where are my reservations and rentals literally coming from?
Yeah.
Is my spend producing positive results? If so, how do I back those positive results with more spend? The second piece was the automation that I just touched on in the part about 10 Federal, which was let people do people things, let the tech do the tech things. What I didn't get to was, in that answer was, you can not only with the chat bots and things, but you can follow up on lost leads, where you had somebody that left in the process of a reservation or a rental, reserved but never showed up. You can follow that up with a drip campaign, 3 to 5 message drip campaign, text messages, etc. We mentioned that you could also use it to cultivate ratings and reviews from existing tenants, that sort of thing. And then the last piece that I covered was the utilization of the data around occupancy and then pricing to really drive better marketing and profitable results, just in general. Understanding not only your occupancy rate at the facility, but by unit type. So like if you have a specific unit type that, like say the facility itself the occupancy is great, maybe it's 90, 95, whatever % occupied, but you have a certain unit type that is like grossly under occupied. So you move your spend, you don't turn the whole spend off if we're talking about paid search as the example. You don't turn it off at the facility level, you just simply move it to that unit type to bolster its success. And then the last piece I was talking about was pricing. So in that same scenario, you might be down to just 3, 4, 5 more 10 by 10s, and you are aware of the pricing data in the region through, something like Price Monster, which we have, or some of the competition in the marketplace. But you have that price awareness. Yeah. And you marry that with the occupancy, and you go, we could actually raise the rates on the remaining units. Yep. And since it's like a supply and demand thing. Yeah. They're in high demand. Our supply is running out. So these last few units, we're going to charge a little bit more for them. Right. And that's what I was kind of covering in that table talk.
Well, and you've also been working on it completely separate from the amazing table talk you did, because I watched it. It was great. But you have been working on something really fun, right? Like you're building out a GEO analysis tool.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So what a lot of people may not know, some of you do, but I have an IT background, and I love to code and work on stuff like that. Whether I should or not is probably up for discussion, but I have been, the last 4 weeks maybe, working on the development of a tool which will help us understand how our clients are doing, or even prospects for that matter, but how are they doing getting themselves into the answer systems, like the LLMs. If somebody were to key into ChatGPT and say, who's a great self-storage facility near me, or in Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri, or whatever, what's the response? Is it my client? Is it my prospect? Is it my competitor? And then it scores and ranks all that and creates a dashboard. It looks at what's our company's share of voice. It's really slick. I know I'm saying that, and I developed it, but
it is. I'll admit, it is very slick.
It's got a really pretty left rail, and in there, it's got all the analyses. It breaks it down by keyword targets. It shows you the prompts that it utilized. It's very intelligent on the way that it builds those prompts. I built in a persona piece to it too, so you can say like, this is just somebody who's looking for information, they're not really a buyer, or hey, this is actually somebody looking to buy, or this is a disgruntled tenant, or this is like, that sort of thing. Right. And based on the personas, you can do location-specific personas. We can put all that in, and it builds out the prompts, and it runs those prompts, gets the responses back, and scores out how did my client do versus their competition. And then it marries that up with SEO data. Okay. So how well do they rank for specific targeted keywords? And then the last piece is all recommendations based on the data that was analyzed, the results above, the analysis of those results. Now what? Right. So it's like,
I think that's always the key, right?
That's always the key. So now what? That's the piece that Go Local is always trying to get back to our clients is, okay, so what do we do now? And it will suggest content. It will suggest blog posts. It will suggest a podcast like this one. It will suggest articles, maybe new location pages, maybe social media posts, all of that stuff. And then the next level cool thing that we're doing is we're marrying that up with another one of our internal systems that goes, basically It then takes all of that data, which is good to know.
Yeah.
And you can personally start typing away at that stuff. Or it will feed it over into our organic system, which naturally has that content generation in it. So it seeds that system with, here's what we need.
Yeah.
And then it just schedules that out
Yep.
on a what would be considered like a comfortable and a reasonable schedule. And then it just generates it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then the humans go in and edit that. They can change that schedule, modify the requirements, whatever that might be, and then get that done for the car.
So one of the things we're going to do for listeners of the podcast, I'll put a QR code like right here,
or here, or right over
somewhere,
here.
somewhere in here, and it'll be in the show notes. I'll link in the show notes too. But if you contact us, we will do a geo analysis on a location for you for free. Which is really cool and opportunity for you to see kind of the neat stuff that we're working on at Go Local.
Yeah, and I think it'll help you understand like, what is this thing? Some people have started to hook onto it. Like there were questions about it yesterday at the table talk. To their credit, I mentioned that ISS was smart enough to include Melanie in their lineup, but enough people are starting to go, well, what is that, and how do I become that answer? And we can give you more information around what that really is. Because just so everybody at home knows, a lot of what you're trying to do there, you're trying to get into the model's data set before they release the next model. And they train those models, and if you ask one of them, go to ChatGPT and say, how current is your data? What is it current up to and through? And it will say 12/1/2025, whatever that might be. And then it's newer. If it's got newer information, it's literally crawling and getting that real time.
Right.
But literally in the old data, in the existing data set inside of the LLM, it's only fresh to a certain point.
Yeah.
It was in the training set. We got to make sure that our clients are like doing stuff now. So that in the next training runs, you might become that answer.
Right.
But you've got to understand, where are you now? And then what do I need to do to get into that answer set? And just so everybody knows, I mean, right now you might go into your Google Analytics and you're only seeing 2% or less of your traffic is coming from ChatGPT or Claude or anywhere like that. But if you drill into it and you look at it on a microscopic level, it's hooking like this. So like it's growing exponentially, but the number it's growing on is so small. 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, But here before long, it's just going to come on hard. And so, and I would just challenge you at home to think about, how are you searching for things now? Are you searching less and less with a search engine and a little bit more and more with a ChatGPT or a Claude? I think you are.
Probably.
Secondarily, even if you are searching on Google, their responses start with an AI result.
They do.
Which is Gemini.
So
how do you get into Gemini and become that answer? And that's the whole point of the GEO tool.
Well, I think it's a really exciting and cool thing. Again, we'll put the link to sign up for a free analysis in the show notes. Throw the QR code somewhere in this region right here.
Right in here.
But anything else? Like, I feel like we've covered the news, the big news for this week. We're going to get to the rest of the show, but just wanted to say thanks for sitting down with us during ISS.
Thanks for doing all this.
It was a good time. And
Shane's been going to town over here in the spotlights.
I'm sweating. You can't see it, but we got the lights on this time. So we learned from SSA.
We did.
We thought, what could we do to just up it a little bit? So that's what we're doing. So rest of the Go Local Brief is next. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. All right, we are here for the Go Local Brief live from ISS here in Las Vegas. And I'm here with Grace Totty, who is the Vice President of Marketing and Sales for Absolute Storage Management. Grace, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We literally were walking into the booth and we said, Grace, come be on the show. and this is us just first meeting, so I'm excited to have you on the show. I'm brand new to Go Local. You have been with Go Local forever. You've been working with us for 6-7 years.
It's been a while, yeah, and it's been fun.
What's been your experience with the Go Local team?
A true partnership. I think that would be, if I had to summarize it, I would say it's a true partnership. They are an extension of our marketing department, And so they've helped us through different headwinds, whether it's economic headwinds or advancements in technology that we need to stay ahead of. So coming alongside, testing what works, learning from what doesn't work, and moving forward.
That's great. So everybody has a self-storage origin story. How did you get your start in self-storage?
It's usually not a story that starts with "I searched it out" either.
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
No, storage found me, much like other people in the industry. So I met 2 of the original partners of Absolute, who were a part of a mentorship program through the university I went to. And so met them, and about a year later they needed an intern, so they called me and I said, sure, why not?
Why not?
And so from that just continued on. I like to say that I bamboozled them into offering me a full-time job after graduation, but I don't think they agree with that.
Yeah, that's great. So what's your favorite part of coming to a show like this?
My favorite part is working with vendors more closely. So the opportunity to actually sit down with the vendors we're using and just refine that partnership. It truly is constant care and understanding what's working, what's not working, and relationship building.
Yeah.
So I love that because so many of our vendors do come to the show. But also it's walking around and seeing other operators in the industry as well and hearing from them, what are they dealing with and how are they navigating?
Right.
And so it's learning from other operators, getting to see my current vendors, and then of course meeting new vendors and seeing what's new.
Yeah, I podcasted with Jim Mooney, and he was like,
I love Jim Mooney.
It's just like a big family. It's a big family of people, and, and I think that having that face-to-face conversation with folks is really important because you can. I used to work for. I was just having this conversation with somebody else. I used to work in social media. And we used to sign our tweets with our actual name when we were doing, like, it was customer service, because it was hard to yell at a company when you knew there was a person behind it. And just personalization, I think, is really important.
Yeah.
So that leads me to a question. In this world of AI, when everybody's trying to automate everything, how do we maintain that like really close personal touch to what I think some people really still crave in this industry?
That's a very good question. And I think AI is going to make us all more effective, but I don't think it's going to replace human thought and human processes. Like if I'm looking at measuring the website's performance, I know what is important for storage and I know what is important for operations, like what operations perspective of impact is. And like I know the clients that we manage for, they care about income.
Right.
And so then I need to think through how can I refine what is going on the website so that it leads to income.
Yeah.
So I can use AI with prompts that are generated and probably in a clunky manner generated, and so AI can refine kind of where I'm going to and the process to get there. But AI is not going to intuitively know that my website needs to generate rentals that will then result in income because it's a tenant that's going to actually pay on time, or they won't fight on auto pay, and they'll upgrade to the tenant insurance. So I think it's going to refine the process, but not replace the thought.
Yeah, I think the human touch there that you referred to, I think is an important part, right? I tell a lot of folks, I'm like, look, you're worried that it's going to take your job. The truth is the faster you learn it, the faster you understand how to manipulate it and make it do what you want it to, the better off you're going to be.
Yes. I've really challenged my team. Anything that is taking them as individuals more than 3 hours to do, how can we get AI to do it for you? Because it can do a lot of our automations or audits and evaluations for us so that it spits out the data that we then analyze.
Right.
But if we can expedite and speed up the analyzing part, get to the data summary part, and then I can analyze the data and make the business decision from the data.
Right.
That is a win.
Oh, absolutely. Like having to comb through, the volumes of data that operators are collecting on a regular basis. And be able to at least give directional analysis so that then you can do like really detailed analysis is I think really huge. So this is day 2, 3 of ISS.
I don't even know.
Who knows, right? Who knows?
First day of the floor opening.
Yes. What are you looking forward to the most
when it comes to the where the industry is right now and what you expect to see here at ISS?
I expect to see more talk of AI and how it's improving processes, but again, I don't really care about highlighting that you are using AI. I want to know how is it impacting the product that you're providing.
Yep.
So it's really cool that you've implemented AI, and I think a lot of times we say AI, but it's really just data structuring better, or it's automation through data. So it might not be AI in a true sense, but you are leveraging data and data warehouses and analysis of data, and how is that improving the product? That's what I really, as an operator, that's what I care about more is bells and whistles are really cool, but what is the yield at the end? Absolutely,
absolutely. So what's the thing that you think that people are kind of keeping an eye on when it comes to that like what's the thing that people aren't saying that is what they're keeping an eye on the operator side?
Ooh, what are people not saying that they're keeping an eye on? Well, I think right now the economic headwinds are still, it's a soft economy, and so until rates drop, we don't really know what demand is going to do, especially as we enter into the student season or the summer rental season. And so I think that expenses are on everybody's mind right now, but also how do we find those tenants or those potential tenants that will turn into that rental for us. And so making sure that we're focused on high quality leads and being discovered for those leads and then being attractive so that we earn their business instead of my competitor.
Right. I was having this conversation with somebody. I came from higher education. And so that student market that you mentioned is really interesting because we're 18 years from the recession of 2008. And what a bunch of higher education institutions know is next year there is a massive drop in high school seniors. Like there's we called it the enrollment cliff, where like there's like 8 million less high school seniors that are going to graduate and enter into college that will be available to enter in college. Now, COVID accelerated that a little bit to where like the enrollments kind of slowed down, but I think I even thought about like, how is that going to affect even self-storage, right? In college towns and anywhere where there are students who need storage in those instances, that's an impact.
Well, that's not only, that is one of multiple impacts that's happening in the student season itself as well. We've also seen for the number of seasons now too that I can recall at least, students aren't storing their stuff over the summer, they're throwing it out. They're trashing it because it's all IKEA furniture or it's stuff that they just grabbed from Walmart or Temu or Shein or something. It's a lower quality, so they don't even want to go through the hassle. It's not the cost of the storage unit. It's the hassle of getting it out of my dorm, packing it, transporting it, unpacking it, storing it. And so there's a number of headwinds, I think, that are just disrupting some of those normal patterns in the storage industry.
Well, especially since shipping is so cheap now and the cost of goods is so low.
Yes,
like
Amazon, I can reorder everything I need for my dorm and get it delivered to my dorm for $200.
Right, exactly. All right, so looking at the next 12 months, what do you think is the thing we're not seeing? Like what's coming up that we should be prepared for?
That's a very good question as well. The next thing that we are not prepared for, I think AI in advertising is still a question mark. There's a lot of refinement going on, especially in the Google ad summary or AI summary section. Google is not really giving us the best results in that AI summary. And so to think about paying for placement in that summary, especially as an operator that manages multiple brands, I don't want you swapping the wrong brand for a market that should be representative of a different portfolio. And so there's a question mark in the quality that it's going to produce, but also it's the next iteration of advertising, and so we need to be there. And so it's navigating when do you participate and at what threshold do you participate at, and which platform, because Google's not the only platform now.
Right, and I think Jason Barrett is actually building a GEO analysis tool.
Okay.
Already, like so we're thinking about like what does this GEO space look like, because the needs in that space are so different, right? The way your metadata is structured, and it requires a little bit more resourcing or sourcing to ensure that there's things that are pointing to where, like, so you're ensuring your Google listings are still really solid, which is stuff that folks know, but maybe they aren't thinking about because they did it a while ago and they just aren't thinking about it now. So I think GEO is definitely that next thing that's going to be, and it's going to be fast.
I've actually heard some differing opinions on the version or the difference of GEO versus SEO, and really that I've heard, and I'm not an expert in this, I've heard that GEO is just a new packaging of SEO, because data structuring has always been important with SEO, and backlinking has always been really important
100
with SEO. And so I think the focus for Absolute is writing fresh content, because I still think that age-old saying of content is king is going to help us from a GEO ranking and an SEO ranking, but making sure that the content is written in a more conversational method. I think that is going to be some of the key differences here. So migrating away from the old mentality of keyword stuffing, and more of when somebody is using voice to search, how are they searching? What are they asking? And answering questions in light of the actual conversation or the actual question that's being asked. I think that's what we're going to focus on, and hopefully it gets us ranking well. And also to that point, I know that other listing platforms are going to be more important than they historically have been. Because Google listings has always been the most important. I think that will maintain top priority, but the importance of showing up on Bing is becoming more important because Bing powers ChatGPT or something. There's all of these different models, these large language models, where people will eventually start asking questions and trying to find our product on those models. Pulls data from different sources. So we can no longer really neglect Yelp, which has been really difficult to play with.
I know, right?
And so we need to keep focusing on Yelp and making sure that our listings are built out and that we're asking for reviews on Yelp, where before didn't matter as much for a product like storage. I think as users adopt different large language models, it'll become more important to pay attention to your listings.
For sure. Well, I'm going to let you go because you've already given me way more.
You're so sweet.
And I really appreciate you doing this because, like I said, we literally just pulled Grace off the floor and said, come podcast with us. So we're so appreciative of that. And
I'm
we're
happy to be here.
So glad for our partnership and appreciate all the work that we've done together. And we look forward to doing it more in the future.
Thank you.
So thank you,
happy
Grace.
to be here.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
All right.